Hello and welcome to the Sicilian cake. All right, today I'm going to undertake a challenging dish. It's spaghetti and meatballs. So I'm going to make my mom's meatballs. What are you laughing at? Yeah. I've got about a pound of ground beef here, and I'm going to use a breadcrumb mix that's usually sitting in my fridge. And oh, this poor plant didn't make it. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna use some breadcrumbs, eggs, usually about 2 eggs, about a cup and a half or so of the breadcrumb mix, and then I'm gonna form the meatballs, fry them up. You don't fry them right through, you just give them a light fry, and then I'm going to put them in some homemade sauce that we made this summer. So see that video on making and jarring homemade tomato sauce. All right, I'll get some stuff together and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back, ready to roll. I've got some things out. Hopefully you can see me. I've got my jarred tomato sauce that I'm putting in a pan. I'll talk to you a little bit about this pan later. Some ancient Italian secret. I'm just gonna pour the sauce in. I've got 2 jars. I like a lot of sauce. And so that we can just get some of the remaining sauce out of these jars, just add a little bit of water. Not a lot. Our tomato sauce tends to be a little watery, which is okay, but you don't want to add too much water because you want it to cook and have some of that moisture evaporate so the sauce gets thicker. All right, we'll just let that go. I'll add a little bit of salt, not much. We'll taste it later because tomatoes are salty by nature. And I'm going to add a clove of garlic. And this will get our sauce going because we will add our meatballs after they are partially cooked. So we've got a nice clove here. I'm just going to slice it down the center so that it's visible after cooking and we can remove it. All right, that's set to go. Okay, and we have our ground beef here. Just gonna break it up a little bit. And with the amount of ground beef, I think 1 or 2 eggs would do it. It is a fair bit, so I'm gonna add 2. I'm not sure what the eggs do. Maybe it helps it stick together later. Sorry. Why don't you say hi, Raj?
Hi.
All right, so we've added 2 eggs. Just gonna mix it into the meat. There's no finesse to this. Just do it. Okay, so it's nicely mixed. Some people will add wine or some other liquid to it. We've not done that. All right, and here are the magic breadcrumbs that I've used in all sorts of other recipes that I've done, specifically the chicken, the breaded chicken. So we have about, typically when I do it up, it's about 2 cups of breadcrumbs, close to 1 cup of Parmesan cheese, and chopped parsley, fresh parsley if you have it, salt, pepper, and the optional item, depends what you're making, is the garlic. My mom probably put it in everything if she had it. Sometimes I leave it out, but in the meatballs I kind of like it, so I'll mince up a garlic clove for our breadcrumbs. Or I could just put it right directly in the meat. So so I don't add it to my breadcrumb mix. I remember one of my jobs as a kid when I would help cook was to mince the garlic, which was a painful task, you know, getting it all the right size and everything. So I'm just gonna use my garlic press. Hey, I've replaced child labor. There. Oh, yeah. Let's put it right in the meat. That'll give it some nice flavor. And I might add a little extra parsley too. It's nice to have those flavors in meatball. Okay, so I'm going to add approximately, not great with the measuring if you guys have noticed, a quarter, a half, 3/4. All right, let's say 1 cup of the breadcrumb mix. So if you were making that from scratch, it would be 1 cup of, let's say 1 cup breadcrumbs, half a cup of Parmesan cheese, chopped parsley, I would say at least a tablespoon or 2, it's always nice, 1 garlic clove, and some salt and pepper to taste. Okay, let me just add some of that. You want them to have some nice flavors inside. You can add salt to the sauce, but it is always nice. Make sure this has enough. And we can always add more salt to the meatballs as they're cooking. And maybe pepper too. All right, I'm gonna take a video break and form some of these meatballs up. Okay, so I haven't actually formed any meatballs, but what I am doing is I'm using my ice cream scooper and I'm kind of measuring out a specific amount to help me form the balls, because I'll tell you, without this I would have meatballs of many sizes. So this definitely helps me. All right, so I've partitioned out some. And in order to form the meatballs, I keep my hands wet. So you'll hear the running water in the background. And I'm going to form them. Sometimes I go for the oval, but it is nice to have round meatballs about this size. And of course you can make them of any size you want. Ideally, I would love to make them teeny tiny, but then it just takes longer to roll them all up. I've started warming up my oil in the pan. So we'll put them in when that gets hot. I've got it at about medium high. All right, it's rolling along. I really should work on them more, make them nice and round and smooth. Hopefully they don't fall apart when they're being fried up. Okay, I'm trying to think. That's maybe almost half of them, and we've got about 16, 17, 18 around there. Oof. Yeah, we're not exactly halfway through. All right, I'll use my scooper Or more. I don't hear my oil sizzling yet. So I've got some time. I am trying to hurry it along so I don't get behind the 8 ball, which would be to have the oil sitting without meatballs in it for any extended period. You get smoky, smelly oil. Okay, well, I guess we were about halfway. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're frying these babies up. I tend to use like 2 forks to help turn things as opposed to the tongs where my hands get tired or anything else. I generally move them around. I don't want them to get overly cooked. They kind of lose their shape, round shape. And I move them around. They start to settle on one side. I may move some of them from the middle to the outside so that they can cook somewhat evenly. Not the best at remembering which ones I've turned already. If I think I'm not keeping up with the way they're frying, I can just shake the pan and get them to move a little bit so I'm not burning any. Okay, like I said, we just want to keep the shape, fry them a little bit on the outside. My mom always had something about putting them in when they were raw. I don't know, maybe some people do that. Have a look at our sauce. Turn it up a little bit so I get it going to a boil. I would say these are almost done. I just want to get them cooked on some of those sides that aren't fried up yet. these into the middle. Frying them does give them a little bit of a tougher exterior. It's not a bad idea to make sure they've hit all of the sides. Okay, we'll just let these fry a little longer and then we'll throw them in the sauce. Alright, I'm going to start popping some into the sauce. I'm not putting them on a paper towel or anything. I'll just take the oil and all that nice taste with them. Turn it off. Just finish it up. We have a couple that are breaking. Let's leave that one in and eat it. Okay. So we have them in the sauce, and I'm going to be gentle with them at first so we don't break them. But the sauce is nice and hot, it's starting to boil, and we'll just let them cook. The longer, the better, really. If you have the time, an hour. If not, try it and just go with that. Okay, we'll see you in about an hour. Oh yeah, the pot, the secret of the pot. I have tried many times to replicate my mom's recipe for sauce, nonna's, and I'm not sure I'm there yet, but working on it. One of the things I changed is the pot. I noticed that she had an aluminum pot. So that's one of my theories, that it's the aluminum. So we'll try it out. Talk to you soon. Bye. Okay, we're almost halfway through the cooking process and they're looking really good. I can see that the meatballs are kind of emitting some of the oil from the meat, and I'll give you a close-up. Just boiling away slowly. When the lid's on, it does boil a little faster, but we just want it to cook slowly. I might put it a little higher. All right. And we don't quite close it. We don't want the moisture to be trapped in there and then just adding to the sauce. So we leave the spoon in between so the moisture can escape and it's reducing. What used to happen, well, what happens is when you lift the lid and the water's on that, my dad used to kind of get upset at me if I let it kind of drip back in the sauce. So just drip it into the sink and then put it back on. All right, we'll see you in about half an hour. Okay, we've got a few more minutes for our sauce to be ready. You can see it, looks lovely. The meatballs are intact. Scrape off that side stuff and throw it back in the sauce. It's looking good. It's not overly thick, but it'll work. Longer's always better. And we're getting our pot of water boiling so we can throw our pasta in there. Okay, that's it for now. I'll probably take a picture of it when we put it all together. What are you doing? Okay, we're almost ready. Say hi. Sauce is cooking nicely. Some of the meatballs did break up, but most of them are pretty intact. And that's fine. It's a meat sauce. Maybe that's a good thing. And we've got our pot of boiling water. Should be ready soon. Making sure it's not sticking. And that'll be done in just 30 seconds actually. We'll try it out. Okay, we've got our plate ready. We are going to add some sauce to the pasta that I drained, just to get it going. Give it a little bit. The pasta may just absorb some of that into it as it's really hot and it's probably still cooking. Sometimes I add a little bit of butter, just so it doesn't stick when I first drain it. And it gives everybody a chance to take some pasta with sauce or without sauce, whatever they want. Anyway, I will put some in our dish. More sauce. Okay. There it is. Over in our pot. Duke, of course, is right on the ground. Just add some of our meatballs. Try and pick one that didn't break. There we go. Looks nice. And I will grate some cheese on that, and it'll be ready for Roger to eat. There we go. I think I'll add one more meatball. Two kind of seems measly there. Oh, of course. There we go. Okay, and that's fettuccine with Nonna's meatball sauce. Take care, see you later.